It's just such a catalyst for getting family and friends together. I like the challenge of the Birkie. I love the downhills. I love the uphills. But also the community is so enthusiastic and so supportive. I tell people in the Nordic community are happy. If they can be on their skis and there's snow, everybody's happy. Nobody's complaining about anything.
Welcome to the Birch Legacies podcast. We are sharing stories celebrating the motivation, the perseverance, and the lifestyle choices necessary to reach the status of Birchlegger. That is, skiers who have completed 20 or more Birkies, Korteloppets, or a combination of both. We would love to hear from Birchleggers young and old who have a story to tell about what keeps them coming back year after year. Information about appearing on this podcast is in the podcast notes. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Birch Legacies, and I have a real treat for you. As I did in the previous podcast, I have a number of the women who are part of the Ski and Tea group, and we're calling it part two. If you listen to the previous podcast, we heard from four of the members of the Ski and Tea group, but there's so many of them, and we wanted to talk to a lot of them, and so we brought, I think we have six more of them with me here today. And so we're going to meet them and hear what they're up to and what they have enjoyed about being part of the Ski and Tea group. And welcome, folks. And why don't you just go around the room one at a time and just, tell us just briefly a little bit about yourself, maybe even where you're sitting now, because I know we're not all in Wisconsin.
Okay. My name's Jeanine Evenson. I live in Hayward. Not actually Hayward. I live just about a mile east of the Double O trailhead, just off Double O. And I'm on the same block as people on your previous podcast, Connie and Allison, and Nancy's cabin is not far away. Yeah. And Kelly's Gillicorns is across the bog. So okay. I have done 41 Birkies and 3 Korties. My first one was in 1979. I think the same as you, right, John?
Yeah, 79. Oh, you've been listening.
Okay. I actually, I listened to all the podcasts so far. I just haven't heard Jim Coors, who is a friend of ours also.
He's a good one, yeah too.
Yeah. And the Birkie, my first race in 1979 was the first race I did of any kind. Yep. I got invited by a friend of mine that lived in Iowa. She was coming up with her rec group from college. At the time I was living in Green Bay, and I said, sure, that sounds like fun. I had never skied that long. I wore a fanny pack with a big camera in it because I thought, well, I'll stop and take pictures. And that never happened. The competitive spirit got me right away. I never opened it, never stopped, and haven't stopped since. So that's how I got started. That's
cool. Very, very good. And fun to meet someone who started the same year. That's some good memories from that one. All right. Go. Who's next?
Hi, Mary Menk. I'm vacationing in Mesa, Arizona, Usery Regional Park. After the Birkie and the Fat Bike Birkie, we like to come down and get our mountain bike legs under us for about 4 to 6 weeks. And so we're enjoying that. I've done 30 Birkies, so I'm an Uberlegger this year. Woohoo!
That's awesome.
My husband challenged about 10 people when he did his 10th Birkie to join him. And I was one of the 10 that joined him, and I never stopped. After the first one, I swore I'd never do it again. But as it always goes, you do one, another, and then another.
Yeah, that's great. I'm looking at, this isn't a video podcast, but I can see, are you in a camper? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, we camp.
Yeah. Okay. It's got those telltale, really high little cabinets. Oh, cool. That explains the fact that you're down there. That's a good mountain biking area too, I think.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Except for a little hot. We've broken a lot of records for 100-degree heat in March. So
Absolutely a factor we're thinking about up here too in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Yeah. Who's next?
I can go next. I'm Julie Virkus, and I live in St. Louis Park, Minnesota, a suburb of the Twin Cities. We have a cabin in Hayward. And the first time I ever Nordic skied was in 1974 in Voss, Norway. I had been a downhill skier for recreation in high school. And so Gus, my husband, and I were in Europe as college students. And so we were in Voss, Norway, and what's this Nordic stuff? So we tried it, and actually it was a downhill ski venue. And going down alpine ski runs on skinny skis was quite interesting. I was like, oh, I get it. These don't work exactly the same way.
No.
But then time passed, master's degrees, working full time, having kids. So my first Birkie was in 1998. That was the year that it was shortened. I believe we ended at 00 in
Okay.
98, but I was really happy about that. The week before, I had run a marathon in Izumi City, Japan. And I'm like, how am I going to get through 50 some K of skiing after just running a marathon? But for me, it was a good deal. It was shortened. And then from then on, it just kind of exploded. It's like I got the fever
Yeah.
and we have to do the skiing stuff. We've done 11 Korteloppet races in the interim. So, yeah, skiing is my go-to now. Running has become secondary.
It does get harder as you go. Those short ones, people say, aren't you disappointed it was only halfway? And I always say, no, that's a freebie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still a notch on the belt.
That's right.
Who's next?
I'm Carolyn Senty, and I currently live in Saley, very, very close to the Birkie crossing on 00. In fact, we have a connector from our cabin here over to both the Camba Trail and the Birkie Trail, so it's been
Nice.
really good. My first Birkie was in 1978. We were living in Madison. I was married at the time, and someone in our apartment building mentioned that there was some kind of a ski race up near Hayward. And we'd just gotten wooden skis for Christmas from my parents. So we thought, we'll go practice in the Arboretum or the golf courses, around town without really knowing what we were getting in for. But we did the first one in 78, and I've done 35 Birkies and 4 Korties now.
Wow.
I haven't done a Birkie for probably 8 or 10 years. I kind of backed off from that due to injuries and surgery. And then I just did the shorter one for 4 years. And now I'm really just a volunteer spectator. I still enjoy skiing, but I'm not doing the long races anymore. So yeah, we practiced by skiing around the Arboretum and the golf courses and came up, and other than the ones that have been canceled or shortened, I've done all of them up through 2015, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like that neighborhood around Sealy is the hot spot to be with all you folks. And so, Deb, you want to go up next?
Sure. My name is Deb Vomhoff, and I live between Mellon and Clam Lake. So I'm a little bit farther away from the Birkie Trail, but I am also close to ABR and Copper Falls State Park and that kind of thing. So I still have a lot of cross country ski trail opportunities. I have done 32 Birkies and 8 Korties. And I started skiing in college. Some roommates, or not roommates, but co-eds that lived down the hall got me going, and we would ski up. I went to UW Stout, so I was in Menominee. And we would ski either at Hoffman Hills, or we would go down to along the Red Cedar Trail. And go down to Ludington on Wednesdays, and where there were quarter taps and peanuts in a shell.
Those are the days.
And then in the afternoon, we would ski on back. And then this same
was it
group
slower? Can I ask Deb? Was it slower going back then with that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Was it a same? It's a good thing you had tracks. It's kind of like leaving a trail.
Exactly. Yeah. And we'd have to pick up 1 or 2 of us along the track. Come on, stand back up. We got to get home. And it was always in the dark.
I love it.
But anyway, then with the same group of friends, I had a family vacation cottage on Upper Clam Lake. So I'm like, hey, why don't we just all do a cross-country ski weekend? And there are these telemark trails. Let's go out there and do that. So we went out there one weekend, and this was in the early 80s. And it's like, what are all these people doing in these skin tight suits and zooting around the trails? And to find out, we asked a few questions, and there's this Birkebeiner ski race going on the next weekend, and these folks are, doing their final legs of training. And wow, well, let's do that next year.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
the next year came along. I didn't sign up. My 4 buddies did, and they did it. And I was the spectator support staff. And then they did it, I think, 2 years without me. Hey, Deb, when are you ever going to sign up for this thing? So after a couple years later, then I signed up and did it myself. So I did my first Birkie around, or my first Korte, I think, around 1985 or 86.
Okay, yeah.
And I did like 4 Birkies. And then, hey, Deb, when are you ever going to do the whole thing? Okay. So then I started doing the whole thing. And then minus having a child or 2 in there somewhere, I did my 32nd this year. So anyway, that's kind of how that got going.
Very fun. These are fun stories, you guys.
Yeah.
Plus, I can relate to some of those things. I know for me, it was the wineskins back in those early days.
Oh,
that was a real common thing to have wineskins.
Mad Dog 2020. Let me tell you.
I think it was
got me through
some kind of Lambrusco. I
house.
think it was. We would pour the Lambrusco in there. But that was, I don't think anybody drinks that anymore.
And a pony keg of Liney's Bach in the snowbank.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Outside the cabin.
The young people, if there's any young people listening, they don't realize what they're missing out on.
Right.
I think that leaves Gretchen, right, Gretchen?
Yep, it does. And I skied my first Birkie in 1990, and I've skied 28. I don't think I'll make it to 30.
Okay.
Because when I started skiing, I was 42. I had downhill skied all my life. My husband skied in the first Birkies, and I said to him, I think you're crazy. I would never do anything like that. But then he signed me up to do a Birkie, and I made sure I could be on my skis for 5.5 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then I completed that Birkie in 5.5 hours.
Wow.
Not that I knew how to ski. I didn't know how to ski, except for I was great on the downhills.
There you go. Because you had all that downhill skiing experience.
I had all that downhill skiing.
Yeah.
So when I came under the finish line, I said, where can I sign up for next year?
Wow. That's the opposite of most people I know.
Line. I know. I worked the finish line, and that's the first thing I ask him. How was your race? And if they're doing their first Birkie, I ask them, how was your race? And will you sign up for next year?
Yeah. You're a born ambassador.
I was I one of the best things I had done was I was chosen as Ingalami to ski with the Warriors. And I carried my granddaughter across the finish line. And she was in junior nationals this year.
Oh my goodness.
From Colorado, and she was chosen, and she was qualified for junior nationals.
Oh wow.
So
I hope you have a picture.
My claim. I do have many pictures.
Yeah, I bet. Well, that is so cool. So I have had some friends, a couple different groups of friends that have been the Warriors, and those that have a quote unquote live child to bring across the line, they usually pick them up at like the Birkie office. Is that what you had to do at that time?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't carry them very far. They just kind of do the Birkie office and pick them up. Yeah.
I brought a doll.
Yeah.
And we carried him across the trail. But that was my most remarkable. I get tears in my eyes when I think of crossing that line with my granddaughter.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. And then she became a really good skier and was in junior nationals. The one that was just held up here in Cable last week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
and so we have a cabin in Cable,
and
that's where I am.
Yeah.
And and she grew up coming here and coming in the summer and coming in the winter, and
who does she ski for now?
Rocky Mountain League.
Okay.
The Rocky Mountain League.
Well, that's really interesting. That's a cool story, Gretchen. I love the fact that you started you said you may not get to 30, but you got to 28 starting at 42. That's pretty cool. Well, thanks for going around the circle, folks. So as I was saying to you guys before we started recording, we heard quite a bit about the genesis of ski and tea, but I'd kind of like to hear kind of like, how did you find out about it? You personally, how did you get involved in the ski and tea, and where did you learn about it? Yeah, go ahead, Gretchen.
We came on Women on Skis weekend. And that's a weekend that Jan and Cindy put together. I guess it was maybe 20 years ago, or almost 20. And then I was sitting with Linda Cook and Julie, I can't remember her last name.
Lynch. Julie Lynch.
Julie Lynch, yes. And we were all talking. And they lived here. And so they could kind of work with each other. And I only thing I said is it should be on a Friday so that I can come on the weekend. So I was one of the first people that came, and I consider myself a founder in only that I was one of the first people that came.
Early people, yeah.
Women that came.
Yeah.
But then it evolved from there. And Linda Cook is credited with almost everything that happens in ski and tea.
Well, we bought our cabin in Hayward in 2009. And Gus and I were skiing at Double O. And I saw this huge group of women skiing. And I'm like, I wonder what's going on there. And so I skied up to Connie, not knowing who she was. And I said, what's going on here? I want to be part of this. She says, well, you can join. This is ski and tea. If you hang on, I'll give you a form to fill out. But yeah, you're welcome to join us. I'm like, cool. And what I love about this group is that everybody is active, doing something, doing exciting, fun things. Somebody's hiking somewhere. Nina's off in Alaska, rafting or canoeing or whatever she does. Somebody else is in Switzerland skiing. I mean, everybody is active and embraces that outdoor mentality, no matter what their age. It's like people come and they do the best they can with what they have to work with, and everybody's supportive of one another. So it's just such a great, inspiring group. I love it.
Well, I have to thank Gretchen for suggesting it be on Fridays because we bought our land in 2001, and at first we were back and forth from Minneapolis when we could on the weekends, and eventually Connie Meek told me about ski and tea. She said, you should come and join. I think it was the second year, maybe the third year. And so then until we moved up here in 2012, we would try to come up as often as we could on Thursday night so that I could go to ski and tea.
Yeah, it's a destination.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way because I lived in Madison and had built a cabin up here in Sealy, but it was still going back and forth. And Julie Lynch was one of the neighbors here, and I think she's the one that told me about this group they were organizing. So I've been a member from early on also. And again, like Jeanine, coming up Thursday night so that you could get to ski and tea on Friday mornings was a real effort, but it was worth it. So that's my background story.
I heard about it. My daughter-in-law and son had moved up here before us. We had bought a place up here by Telmark in 2003, and they came up here to work full-time in 2016, and we retired in 2017, and they said, we kind of looked, we lived in Minnesota and we were looking at places to retire and that. And one son had moved up by Sealy and our other son was north of the cities. And so we kind of looked in between, but we've always loved the Hayward cable area because we've been coming here since the 70s, since we were first married. And so it just seemed natural for us to buy a place in Hayward. So we did that in 2018. And my daughter-in-law said, yeah, you've got to get together with the ski and tea ladies. They're a hoot. They're always out there skiing and cheering each other on. So yes, I contacted, I believe, either Nancy or Connie, and joined the group, and love the support and love the fun everyone has, and different activities we all love to do.
Mm-hmm. I think what I really like about the group is we include everybody. There's no bad skier, poor skier, or a great skier. We are all one group. Mm-hmm. And our motto is no woman left behind. Mm-hmm. And so we always make sure that somebody's at the tail end of the group. And I think we also have really good coaching. Women teach women how to coach, mm-hmm. how to ski. And it's easier to learn from a woman standpoint. Mm-hmm. I really, that's really important. Yeah. And then we are all involved in the community around around Hayward and Cable, so that we contribute to the food shelf, other community organizations. I'm very proud of that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that you do a lot of work on working with the Birkie too, and volunteering for the Birkie, as well as just the community itself.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yes. Absolutely.
Well, it certainly comes through when I hear you speaking and the previous group talking that you are a very warm and welcoming group, and I think that fits that mission, or that personal mission that you must have to help each other and to not leave anyone behind, but that also goes beyond skiing. So, do you have a favorite workout? Is there a workout that you guys love to do when the coach says we're doing this today? That's the one you like, or maybe you want to tell me the one you don't like. But
I think I like the strength circuits where we do circuits at 00 in the Gym Rage area. That's one of my favorite things. But we also do hiking and running, or 3-2-1s that are like interval training, which I think is also good. Even if some of us don't run anymore, you just kind of walk faster for the high intensity portions of those.
Yeah, I agree with Carolyn. And these events, even though they're non-ski, they're dry land training or whatever, but we do it in teams or partners. Mm-hmm. And that's where you really get to know individual people just a little bit better, because more times than not, you pick someone that you don't know really well, and that teamwork is a great way to get to know that person. Mm-hmm. And it's I think that's the funnest part about some of those non-off snow workouts.
Yeah, there's one that I enjoy in the fall around Halloween. We do what's called the Tourette's Hill workout. That's probably not a politically correct name, but most people, or some people, we used to be more often, people would dress up for Halloween, so they'd be in costume. And then we would do hill repeats going up Tourette's Hill and back down. And about 6 or 8 of those is enough to really tire you out and get you in shape.
Can you tell me which hill that is?
It's the one just north of Bodecker. Has kind of a uphill and then another uphill and then another uphill.
On the skate side? On the skate side?
On the skate side.
Yeah, that is, I used to call it the 17K hill. That is a tough hill. And it has that part at the end that's super steep.
Yes. Yeah. And that's where we turn around at the top of that and go back and do it again.
I can't tell you how many times going north that I stopped at the precipice and turned around, because I do not want to come back up that. Yeah, that's a tough one. Okay. So that's a good one. That's specific. I like that. Are there any other specific workouts? You mentioned the circuits at the what do you call that thing? The gym, the outdoor gym thing?
Gym Rage.
Gym Rage. That's a cool thing that I've actually played around, but not very systematically on there. What kind of things do you do on that? Do you just go from like pull-ups to push-ups to balance walking?
Yeah, well, Nancy Barr is actually one of the organizers of that, and she probably can tell you more. But yeah, they do add some equipment, but we're doing, planks and sit-ups, balance beam things, pull-ups, push-ups. I don't know. I can't remember what else.
Do you use the ski ergs that are located there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's one of the stations, too.
Yeah, that's
medicine ball.
Okay.
And in fact, in the fall, we're encouraged to get ready for skiing. And we have the erg challenge that Nancy sets up. So we're all divided into teams, or whoever wants to participate is divided in, put on a team, and the number of meters is measured and tallied. Yeah. And there is always a winner.
Okay. So is that like a relay or a group that, you kind of take over, like 6 of you take over one ski erg and see who goes further?
Well, it's like a month long.
Oh, okay.
Or multiple weeks long.
Nice.
So,
and many of our activities can be entered as like we can walk with a backpack, that weighs something.
Yeah.
And and you can do hill repeats and
you get a certain number of points.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think
my favorite was the elevation challenge.
Okay, what's that?
So we got our number of feet ascended no matter what we did, whether it was running, hiking, biking, our feet of ascent was tallied. And I like to bike. So it was, I picked the hilliest routes in the fall. So,
wow. So it kind of tricks
fun.
you into getting ready.
For a lot of repeats up to Mount Telemark and back.
Yeah.
Hiking with friends. So, yeah.
How do you measure that with like an app or something?
Yeah, watch.
Oh, on the watch. Yeah.
Or you could do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. These are all good ideas. See, the reason I'm asking is because I need to know how to get better myself. So that's good. I don't have a ski and tee. I don't know what it would be. One of the things, you kind of talked about this a little bit, but in terms of what keeps you coming back, is it the camaraderie? Is it the fact that you feel stronger? What is it that you kind of personally take the reason for going back?
Well, I think it's definitely the camaraderie. Yeah. And just get
to
meet different people from the area, connect with them, and do fun things.
And there's always somebody new in the group.
Yeah. Do you find it connects you outside of ski and tee as well?
Yeah,
absolutely. A lot of us attend. We have this wonderful woman in the area who teaches eccentrics classes.
Yes.
And many of us attend her classes. She provides these classes for free to the participants with the encouragement to make a donation to a certain charity. Like I think, was it last year on her behalf, like thousands of dollars was donated to the local food shelves, food pantries. Thousands of dollars have been donated to the cable library expansion just because of Mary Jean's eccentrics classes. So a lot of us join that. I've come up with training partners. If I'm training for a different event, hey, come on, let's do and
yeah, it's it sounds like a very open-ended group that you can kind of come in and out of and connect in many ways. And as I heard in the last previous podcast or previous recording that many of the people in the group don't even ski that much. They mostly are, they don't race maybe or don't ever ski the Birkebeiner, but they like to just be part of the group, and they maybe are more bike focused or running or trail running or other things.
I think everybody skis in some sense, but many of us aren't racing anymore. Some people just are trying to improve technique, or like they're saying, find other friends to ski with, even just casually. So So yeah, I think it's the support, camaraderie, inspiration to keep going, to keep showing up.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing I asked everybody in all the episodes of this podcast is I just kind of like to hear a little bit about what the Birkie itself has meant to you, and with all of you being Birchleggers, with substantial numbers of Birkies under your belts, what you want to just take a moment and talk a little bit about how the Birkie has kind of fit into your kind of lifestyle and what it's meant to you?
The Birkie for me is kind of a family lifestyle. My husband started it. We lived in Minnesota. There wasn't a lot of good skiing and stuff, but we were able to find telemark and trails up in the cities. And we used to bring our kids along when they were little. They started when they were 4 years old. And we couldn't find hills big enough for them at that time, but they sure enjoyed it. And then to start the Birkie, it was easier to ski the Birkie or the Korte than it was to be a spectator and haul coats around and all of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So every year, it's almost like Christmas for us, all the friends and family that have gathered. And some do the Birkie, some don't, but it's Birkie, Korte, Prince Haakon, Junior Birkie, Barna Birkies. We've done it all, and Warriors, all of that. So it's just part of our family.
Birkie's been a big part of my life. I even live where I do, probably because of the Birkie. I just was coming up here all the time, and when we were looking for a place to live, Hayward's what came to mind, and it's worked out great, especially because of the community. And the Birkie's not always been a family thing for us. The first few years I was with my friend, and then I talked one of my sisters into it, and then another sister, and then it kept developing over the years so that we would have nieces and nephews coming up to ski the Barney or the Korte, and then it was great nieces and nephews, and we would get a house full of people. Now it's kind of going the other direction because kids are growing up, but it's been always a great way to get everybody together.
I agree too. It's just such a catalyst for getting family and friends together. I like the challenge of the Birkie. I love the downhills. I love the uphills. But also the community is so enthusiastic and so supportive. I tell people in the Nordic community are happy. If they can be on their skis and there's snow, everybody's happy.
Everybody's smiling.
Yeah, nobody's complaining about anything. And I think with Nancy and my bib boutique, I think because it's a smaller town, people are so supportive. Well, what do you need? Oh, you need space at Sawmill? No problem. Here, we'll give you this space. So everybody's willing to help out and contribute, and so supportive. But it's just fun. I have a blast Birkie week. Everything about it is so much fun. Even if the weather's crummy, it's still fun.
Yep. I think it's just such a huge part of my identity, because I started in a little bit after college, and back down in Southeast Wisconsin, there was only, and in the 80s, we didn't have a winter, and I had to travel. I would sign up and have to travel, to find snow, And then we finally did get some snow. But I started running, and eventually I turned into a trail runner, an ultra marathon trail runner, which kind of took over my life for many years because I lived in Southeast Wisconsin. But it's still, when the Birkie came around, if I just got a half a dozen skis in before the Birkie, I could finish it at least, Yeah. But now that I'm a little older and I'm just not able to put in those running miles anymore, the Birkie has just come back, where I could concentrate a little bit more, because I now have, 2, 3, 4 months of winter where I live. So I can ski a lot more. I don't run as much, but it's always been there. My running has always been, and my staying in shape has always been to finish that Birkie. And that's why it sounds kind of heavy
No.
that it's part of my identity, but that's what just has always kept me going year round for the last 40 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
That's great.
And my sister does it now too. So it is a little bit more family thing.
Yeah.
She just finished her 10th Birkie, and actually between Korties and Birkies, she's a Birchlegger too. But
Okay.
yeah, so I have a sister to kind of.
This is such a cool picture sitting on my screen here. I'm looking at just this collection of wonderful people that has got so much going on in terms of their thinking about the just staying fit and being active and respecting the woods and volunteering in community. This whole organization is just so impressive. Any final thoughts? I want to make sure that you have a chance to say anything you were thinking about talking about. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
I think it might be fun if we talk about our favorite Birkies, maybe.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
A couple come to mind for me. John, I don't know if you went to that very first breakfast. Okay, so that was kind of fun because it was like, really exciting to get the first 20 done, but then of course 30, and I can remember a couple other years, like 1993 was my fastest one. I think it was 2012. Vegard Olving came, and I was a big fan of his, so that was really exciting. I think one of my favorites was the 40th in 2021, even though I was disappointed because it was a COVID year and they didn't have a real Birkie. So we didn't get to finish on Main Street. But I skied with 3 friends, including Gretchen was one of them. And my husband, Charlie, was our support crew, and he went to the different places, Mosquito Brook, Gravel Pit, Double O. And then without me knowing about it, some neighbors and friends were out cheering at Whippoorwill and at Double O, which was fun. And it was a very cold day. It was like 10 below when we started, but it was calm and it was sunny. So it wasn't a problem. It was just a beautiful day. We had the track to ourselves for a while. And then we saw friends out there at various times also doing their virtual Birkie. And a special thing for me was that my friend Lori made a chicken pot pie that she had a crust on it that said Jeanine Birkie 2021 number 40. So even though I wasn't recognized on Main Street, it was still a great Birkie. And then my 41st was my last one, and I got some cheering for that one. So that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
My favorite when our 2 sons and daughter-in-law and granddaughter were the Warriors, and Inga and baby, and my husband and I decided to ski together classic wise, and so it was fun to start behind them and meet them along the trail, cheer them on, and see them come in through the finish.
So did you ski alongside them when they were being the Warriors?
Just part way. They were busy with other skiers and encouraging other skiers along. Yeah. So we skied ahead, and so we could get pictures when they came back in.
I had a memorable start. We had a Hayward to Cable start one year, and I remember sitting in a field in the dark because my friends always had to be on the very first bus, even though we weren't until like the 5th or 6th wave. We had to be on the and we were kept warm. They had burning barrels at the start, so none of the tents, none of the heated tents, none of the to keep warm. We stood in the dark around burning barrels to stay warm. And then on my 20th, I remember I was 50 years old on my 20th, and I went back to my roots. I did that one classic skiing, and that was the most memorable for me. And I never went back to skate skiing the Birkie again. I've classiced it ever since. So that means a lot.
Yeah.
That reminds me of when I broke my wrist 2 weeks before I skied a Birkie. And I insisted, even though my orthopedic surgeon was skiing at the same time. And he said, you're not going to ski a Birkie. And I said, oh, yes, I am. Yeah, didn't want me to ski. And I was okay. And then I got to the point where, remember in the old skate trail, they had a dog leg that went, and the snowmobilers would rate
yeah.
your fall.
Yep, they still do.
I was coming down and I felt like I was going to fall. And I thought, I just better just fall and just coast into it.
Yeah.
And I got up and the snowmobiler yelled out at me, "Hey lady, you've only got one pole." And I said, "Yeah, that's because I have a broken arm." And the whole hill was silent. The whole, like they weren't going to rate me, but they were silent.
RESPECT there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That was a memorable Birkie.
Yeah, that would be. Well, again, like I said earlier, I am so inspired. I hope listeners are too. This is a perfect example of why I wanted to do this, because the stories are amazing. I think they're very relatable. And I think the organization, the Ski and Tea Group, is something I'll be coming up on Thursdays, as I often do anyway. But I'm going to schedule myself over to Double O on Friday mornings so that I can eavesdrop on the great workouts you're doing, and then go hang out with the boys, so to speak, and do them myself.
It's
or
not
most likely alone.
Yeah, it's not always at Double O, so sometimes we switch it up. But anyway,
yeah. Well, if I see a gathering of women that are very active, I will know what's happening anyway. So that's good. Well, thanks everybody, and I really appreciate it. And again, thanks to Nancy for organizing, and continue to have a great off season coming up. And again, look forward to seeing you on the trails and elsewhere in the coming months.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Nice meeting all of you.
It's been lots of fun listening.
Yeah, good.
You all did a great job.
Good. All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Please check out the podcast notes to see links to the Birch Leggings Club and the Birkie website. If you've skied a combination of 20 Birkies and or Korties, I encourage you to join the Birch Leggings Club. If you'd like to tell your Birkie story, please contact me, John Peterson, at my email listed in the podcast notes, or by filling out the guest application form linked there. Please subscribe to our program wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review. You can also text us directly from your phone or computer using the quick link in the notes to let us know how we are doing.